Hello, everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. Podcast. Excuse me. This podcast as part of a synopsis. In as part of a Meteor edition. Meteor edition. This audio podcast is part of a Labostix Meteor. This audio podcast as part of a Biome Bullet. And this audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production. And in this audio podcast, there will be a sort of an overview in regard to in regard to sort of abstracted works, sort of abstract works in regard to looking at an abstract in as part of looking into or delving into Henoch Schloem Purpura from 2022, looking at an abstract in regard to transplant transplant neuroimmunobiology, looking at abstract in regard to transplant transplant immunobiology, looking at abstract regard to in regard to in regard to the in regard to use of use of the internet, or the use of the internet, or the World Wide Web, on the World Wide Web for as part of online methodologies for data collection, and looking at sort of abstracts in regard to works uh, from from in around 2019, and looking at an abstract from sort of original works from 2019, excuse me, and looking at, is there a need for healthcare scientists or healthcare scientists to support those suffering with chronic kidney disease, or CKD. Regard to regard to works from 2014, and works regarding the Renal Patient Support Group, the RPSG, and looking at supporting patients with chronic kidney disease through social media, and then also looking at works from 2019, and using social media, looking at an abstract in regard to using social media or mainstream media to prompt or to prompt transplant education, transplant education. So that draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast, as part of this audio podcast synopses, as part of a Meteor edition, this audio podcast series, as part of this audio podcast synopsis, sorry, as part of a Labostix Meteor, this audio podcast, synopsis, as part of a Biome Bullet, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Labostix production.